Grab your cocktail and get ready for this episode of the Old Fashion Masonic Podcast. Welcome to the Old Fashion Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian, and I'm pleased that we continue to add to the international flair of Masonry on this channel. So it's my privilege to welcome Celil Senman. Welcome.
Thank you very much, dear Brian, to be here at the Old Masonic Podcast. It's a great honor and pleasure for me.
I appreciate it. Now, tell everyone, since I totally butchered your name, how to correctly pronounce your name.
My name is pronounced Celil, Celil. And
Yeah, you got
Senman is
so
Celil Senman is my name.
not so. Anybody that knows, I am always on the struggle bus. I mean, I can barely get through English names sometimes, and so thanks for your graciousness for sure. So, I got some questions. So, have you ever seen an episode before?
Of course.
Perfect, perfect. So, we like to know as much about the man and not just the Mason. So, my friend, tell everyone who Jalil is, the man.
I think this is very important first to know the person, to have a general view of the impression of the person, and then later to know much more about the Mason.
Yep.
Let me start with myself as you asked me. My name is Celil. I was born in 1968 in June 26th in Berlin. So I'm a real Berliner, like John F. Kennedy said a long time before. And I'm still staying, I'm still living in Berlin, but it doesn't mean that I'm not moving somehow to other countries, to other people. I like to move internationally. But I was born 68 in Berlin, and I grew up there. And I went to the Collège Français, a French college. That's also one of the reasons why I'm speaking French fluently. And later I went to university. I studied economics, and my focus was the banking and finance sector while my studies. And that led me also later to work in banks, mainly as a kind of a consultant for enterprises, they are supporting them when they are asking for credits, for financial support by the banks. And the focus changed a little bit later to the real estate business. In 2000, there was a certain period of 5 years where I did a different thing. I sorted out of the banking and finance business. I had a company who's doing events like cultural events, fashion festivals, etc., for approximately 5 years, and mainly in Berlin. And then later, I returned to the banking and real estate business. I started as a consultant in a real estate company like Catella and Jones Lang LaSalle. And later, I decided to bring together my knowledge about financing and knowledge about real estate. And as I'm speaking 4 languages like English, French, Turkish, and German, I thought to found a company who was doing this kind of advising and also brokerage for real estate transaction, real estate financing. That's what I'm doing currently now. So I have my own business.
Nice, nice. Family, children, married?
Yes, I'm not married, but I have a son. Now he is 20 years old. So he's also currently living in Berlin. He has also, as a hobby, and probably it could be his profession later, the sports. He's like doing fitness. And we started together when he was 13, 14 years old, doing CrossFit. That was also the reason why I visited United States several times to participate only as a spectator, only as a visitor, not as a competitor to the CrossFit championships in the United States.
Wow. Yeah, those
And
are some athletes. CrossFitters are real athletes.
Yes, there's I think that the sport, the reason what I like in CrossFit is not only that you doing something for your health, but it trains also your mental stability and your mental health because you have to go forward, you have to go strong to it and never quit is one of the main claims of the CrossFitters.
Right, right. Well, it's a life lesson.
And you wanted to know some thing about my person, and I think this could be also for interesting for all the your spectators who are following your channel. What are the interests or the hobby of the man of Celil Senman? I talked about my business. I talked a little bit about my interests in sports, but I'm also interested in spirituality, in some kind of esotericism, but also to be creative is very important for me. Storytelling somehow. This is perhaps also one of the reasons why I had the interest to want to become a Freemason because there you have also the spiritual factor, you have also a kind of creativity is also important. And since school, I am a great fan of the role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, for example. And some years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I created a second business mainly as a hobby, but part-time I'm doing it also professionally, is to be a professional game master for role-playing games. And I developed this idea, this hobby so far that I have also a real studio in Berlin or in Teltow. It's nearby Berlin. It's where I have also cameras, a table like I don't know if you know Critical Role. Critical Role is like a kind of a role-playing channel who is where you can watch them publicly play role-playing games. And this is also one part of me where I can live my creativity and tell stories to people.
Nice, nice. I've never heard of that at all, so that's fascinating. We'll have to put a link to that in the video description. So
It's
because
very
I
popular. It's very popular, especially in the United States, the role-playing games.
nice, nice. Well, now that we know a little bit about you, walk us through your Masonic journey from where you started and where you're at today.
Yeah, it started in Germany, of course, in 1998. I became a master mason then in 2000, and currently I am a member of the Lodge Avant-Garde in Berlin, which is a member of the Grand Lodge of Ancient and Accepted Freemasons of Germany, called AFAM. And I was the worshipful master of this lodge avant-garde from 2017 to 2020. And it is necessary to have this qualification as a worshipful master to become a grand officer in the Grand Lodge.
Yep.
And I am since February 2020 the District Grandmaster Berlin-Brandenburg in the Grand Lodge of AF&AM in Germany. In this Grand Lodge, you have 11 districts. And one of the districts is the area of Berlin, the capital, but also the state of Brandenburg. And what is very important for me in Freemasonry and what I'm trying also to push forward or to inspire also myself, but also all the brethren who are with me is to do social activities, mainly charity activities, and if possible, also to have the international relationships. Because we have the Masonic Brotherhood, we have the Masonic World Brotherhood, the chain, and I think it's very important to live that international brotherhood. And I like also the ritual, the aspects of the ritual is very important for me. And I'm well known, or my lodge is well known, and myself also to try to practice the ritual as good. I don't want to say perfect because nothing is perfect. No, it
Right.
is you can develop everything not much better, but to do the ritual in a very good way. I like to have a kind of orchestration of the ritual because I think if the ritual is well done, is good done, then you can feel
Feel it.
much more about yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I agree because so
And
many people can remember words, but they're not when this word something needs to be emphasized here or an action needs to be emphasized here. So that's where your role playing probably benefits you well in degree work.
exactly, exactly. There are kind of synergy in both ways. The my Masonic work is kind of inspiring and also helping me to develop my work in the role playing and vice versa.
Right,
And
right.
all these aspects which I mentioned, the social aspect, charity, ritual, international, led to when I was the worshipful master of the Lodge Avant-Garde to initiate a symposium, a conference of German-speaking capital lodges in 2019. And we developed this idea also in this year, in 2024, we organized in May a symposium of the Eurasian capital lodges. And the topic of this symposium, of this conference, was humanism in the 21st century.
Mhm.
And we try with this kind of conferences, as we did in 2019, but also this year, to bring together brethren from not all over the world, but uh, German speaking brethren from Finland, from France, from Turkey, etc., etc.
So let me ask you a question here as I wrote a note down. So you have 11 districts. How many lodges are in your district?
20.
20. So you're, as
In
a
my
deputy grand
district,
master, you're over 20 lodges.
yes, 20 lodges and nearly 500 brethren.
Okay, that was kind of my next question. So we're roughly 20 to 30 members per lodge.
There are some small lodge, 13, 15. There are also one, two lodges who have more than 30. But yeah, you're right. 25 the average is 25.
Yeah. Is there a cap on lodge sizes in Germany?
No, no. But my experience is that if the lodges are too big, you have you have to pay attention that you don't have some small groups who cannot work well together
Yeah.
because we are we are Masons, but we are also humans. We have all
Yes.
our errors and flaws, etc. So
Yeah.
that's
Men and egos.
exactly, exactly. You're right.
Right. Right. So
Besides
go ahead.
please. I only wanted to tell that beside the German activity, German-speaking lodge avant-garde, I'm also active in the English-speaking masonry in Germany and mainly focused in Berlin. I'm also a member of the Mark Mason, Royal Ark Mariner, Royal Arch, and I followed also the Knights Templar priest degrees. And this is a completely different thing, and I like it very much, especially because they are not only British, but mainly British British guys are quite yeah, we have a lot of fun with them. Yeah, there's a different kind of Freemasonry as we practice in Germany
Right.
or in the German lodges.
Right.
And not only the British, and I know that we will talk we will deepen this topic a little bit later. I'm also a member of the Shriners in Germany, and this is the mainly American Canadian dominated part in Germany.
Right, right. So German, let's talk German hierarchy. So in our jurisdiction, we have a Grand Lodge, and then under the Grand Lodge we have Masonic lodges, and then there's the York Rite and the Scottish Rite and the Shrine. Um, but the Grand Lodge is the number one say all, so to speak, in our jurisdiction. How does that work in Germany? So, because In the United States, we have a Grand Master per jurisdiction, where in Germany, do you have just one Grand Master over the country?
So let me a little bit describe the structure of the Masonry in Germany. You have a kind of a federation or umbrella Grand Lodge. This is the United Grand Lodge of Germany, which is created after the Second World War. It means I will want to focus more on the recent history. And we have five main Grand Lodges, regular Grand Lodges in the territory of Germany. The one is the Grand Lodge of the Ancient Accepted and Freemasons, which were founded in 1949. And each Grand Lodge, which I will mention, is sovereign for itself concerning the relation to the lodges and also the relation to their brethren, to the members.
Understood.
And United Grand Lodge is the kind of representation to the foreign Grand Lodges, and is also the representation to the profane world, to the public. So the Grand Master of the United Grand Lodge of Germany, the Vereinigte Großlogen von Deutschland, is the Grand Master towards the public and towards all the international Grand Lodges.
Okay.
But the five Grand Lodges within the umbrella, within the United Grand Lodges of Germany, they have also their Grand Masters, who are the leaders of their Grand Lodges, and is the leader towards the lodges which are member of this Grand Lodge.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Let me mention the other four if you want. We have the Grand Lodge of Freemasons in Germany, called the Große Landesloge der Freimaurer in Deutschland, founded in 1770. It's a very old one.
Wow.
And we have the Grand National Mother Lodge of the Three World Globes. It's much older. It's founded in 1740. And then we have the American Canadian Grand Lodge of AF&AM in Germany, founded in 1962, and the Grand Lodge of British Freemasonry in Germany, founded in 1980. These five Grand Lodges are the members of the Federation of the United Grand Lodge of Germany.
Okay, so hypothetically, I decide I'm going to visit Germany. And I say,
Yes.
I would like to visit a lodge. So I would get with my grand secretary in my jurisdiction. They would reach out to the United Grand Lodge of Germany, and they would work that way. And hypothetically, could I go to any of the five Grand Lodges and visit?
Yes, you ask your Grand Secretary, ask our Grand Secretary of the United Grand Lodges of Germany first. Then, if you know which lodge or which Grand Lodge you want to visit, you say, okay, I want to visit this Grand Lodge or this lodge especially. Then the Grand Secretary of the United Grand Lodge of Germany can direct you to the Grand Lodge you want to visit. If you do not specify, then the Grand Secretary of the United Grand Lodge of Germany will send your request, your visit request, or the information about your visit to the Grand Secretaries of all the five Grand Lodges, and then they can distribute. For example, sometimes when a brother is visiting Berlin for, say, familiar or business purposes, then I received the information from the Grand Secretary of the United Grand Lodge of Germany. Hey, there's a brother who is visiting Berlin from this date to this date. Do you have an idea which lodge he can visit? And then I helping this brother.
Makes sense. So very similar, very similar. So it's a Sunday. You and I are dressed very casual for a podcast, right? Since you're on holiday. And my question is, what is the attire? What is the dress code in a German lodge?
Generally, black suit, or in my lodge, we were wearing a smoking.
Yep.
And it is sometimes differs if you have a white or another tie, or in my lodge we have a papillon. We use
Yep.
a papillon. So we are quite formal.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. I think it's great. I think it's great. So let's pop over here to Shriners. We talked a little bit about Shriners. So the Shrine came to Germany not too terribly long ago, right? When did that start? When did you join and walk me through that in Germany?
Okay, the temple or the umbrella organization in Europe is called Emirate Shriners. And
Emmerich.
as we are talking about Shriners, I have to put this on.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
because from the Emirate, you see,
Yes.
Shriners in Germany started in 1953. That was when the first Shriners Club was established in Heidelberg. And a number of Freemasons from Europe and also Near East were initiated as a Shriners. And the task of the European Shriners is to collect funds to facilitate the transport from Europe and Middle East to the Shriners hospitals in the United States or in Canada, free of charge, of course, for the children. And since the inception, approximately 100 children were transported because we do not have any hospitals in Europe or in the area of
Okay.
the Emirate Shrine.
Okay.
Never alone, with a companion or from the family generally. And in August 21, in the year 2010, the inaugural meeting of the European Shrine took place in Ludwigshafen, where Masons from Germany, Italy, Turkey, of course, also the United States and Romania attended this meeting. And in 2011, the Shriners International handed over the certificate to the temple with the name Emirate.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and now we have several clubs, not only in Germany. In Germany, we have Heidelberg, the Heidelberg Club, the Rhineland Club, Keys to North and East, Wiesbaden, Stuttgart, Bavaria, Hanse, and now in May, the Prussia Shrine Club in Berlin or in the surrounding of Berlin was founded, and we will have the installation ceremony of the officers at the end of September of this year. And in this temple of Emerald Shrine, there are also clubs in Roma, in Sicilia, northern Italy. We have in Romania, in Greece, in Turkey, in Istanbul, in Lebanon, and last but not least, also in Cyprus clubs. So it's a quite great area of effect
Wow.
from these Shriners.
Wow.
And I
So
like it very much because the mixture of doing good things, doing charity, and having fun is one of the important things I think in Freemasonry.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Is there any discussion about doing a hospital in Europe at all that you're aware of?
I think this costs a lot of money,
Yeah.
and for that, I think I'm sure we are quite sometimes talking. Are there the possibility to have a hospital in Europe or not? Principally, yes, but you have to have a lot of money to build one, and building is one thing, but to manage is the second thing. How to manage, etc., etc. And then for
Right.
that, you need much more than thousand members. Currently, we did not pass the thousand members. And if you compare with the American area, then you have, I think, 200,000 members.
Yeah.
And that's the main, reason why there it functions. And also the hospitals were not built now in this century, in this period, much before. So the costs are also different.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. That all makes sense. That makes sense. So we talked about charity and philanthropy, which is very important to us as men and Masons. So with all of that, knowing what we know, why do you think more men aren't joining Masonry just worldwide? Or how's it in Germany? Is it hot? Is it cold? It's definitely cooled down in the United States. So I'm just looking for a pulse.
It's a good point, very good questions. I'm often thinking about how we can solve this issue. How can we attract more people, more men to Freemasonry? My point of view, my what I saw is that all the sorrows we have. Okay, I know that 100 years ago there were also sorrows, there were crises, there were the war. During mankind, every time there were problems. But I think one thing in this period is that we have many sorrows, many problems, and many challenges for people, and they do not recognize really Freemasonry as a solution, as a potential solution, or being together with other men, with brothers, and to try together to solve the problems. They are not seeing it, I think, one issue. And the second problem is, or the second reason is that public relations is necessary. So many lodges or even many grand lodges are not doing public relation. Okay, because this is their policy. This is even also the policy in Germany. We do not want to go so far in the public to do some public relations work or marketing. Each lodge or each brother can do it for itself, but there's no official agenda or propaganda or public relations activities in the grand lodges. So that's one reason I think the missing public relations. So I think a podcast like you are doing is very important because you can inform people via social media or via an easy way. And that's the next reason why I'm thinking Freemasonry is perhaps not so attractive for the moment, or people do not see Freemasonry because Masonry means work, a lot of work on yourself.
Sure.
And perhaps people are not ready to do this work. And another reason could be that we are living in people, the time slot for attention is very short now.
Yeah.
We are in the swipe generation. Swipe, swipe,
Yep.
swipe, swipe, swipe.
Yep.
The concentration is short, very short, too short. And Freemasonry is not you cannot tell about Freemasonry in 10 seconds or 20 seconds. Perhaps you can attract via something interesting or via cool to watch the next video. But
Right.
this is also one thing where I'm thinking Freemasonry has to transform.
They do.
Has to, okay, tradition is very important. I'm also a traditional guy. I like traditions.
Yep.
But to survive, I will even say to survive in the next 100, 200 years, we have to change our way to communicate, and social media is a good chance. There we have to be selective, of course, but if we are not using it, we will lose, perhaps.
Yeah, it seems like, I think you and I agree, the overall why men aren't joining is our message isn't getting out there. And our message, because it's not getting out there, we're not putting faces to Masonry. So what they think it is and what it really is different. I think on all 4 points, I agree 100% with you. And I would think that as Masons, we talk about this a lot. At what point do the collective, we Masons, do we say, you know what, we've got to now push the message out? What does it take to do that? Is that your magic wand? If you had a magic wand, other than that, what would your magic wand in Masonry be?
One thing what I wanted to change is that a magic wand I'm using somehow in my role-playing games, because this is fantasy.
Right.
And people has to return to the real values of Masonry and leave to do more politics or leave to do politics. They have to respect the sovereignty of the others. That's what I'm thinking is one of the keys to the future of good and successful Masonry, who is also attracting the heart of the people.
Yep.
You have to create the link to the heart of the people.
Yeah, I agree.
And And that's the reason why I'm doing also these. We organized a symposium, we organized a charity event in 2000, the last year, 2023. We organized a charity event for the victims of the earthquake in Syria and also in Turkey. And I was also before a member of the Biterek, which is a lodge in the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan, that to this event, the Grand Master K of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan visited this charity event. And this event was also open to profanes. This is a kind of a way to show how Masonry could work. You can do it via social media, but you can do it also by organizing events that are touching the heart.
Yeah, I agree. So there's a couple of things that you had mentioned, and I want to segue this if I may. So you talked about respecting the sovereignty of, and then you mentioned being a member of Kazakhstan. So I don't want to take us deep into this, but tell me what happened in Kazakhstan. Is that could that have international Masonic implications?
Let me point out only some things which concerning the constitution of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. Currently, as you know, I am the Deputy Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan, and the current Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan, Aida Alpizbayev, asked me several months ago, because we had the relations created in the charity event, and we discussed, and he seeing that we are active on the international platforms, on the international ways, we have good international relations. And so he asked me if I can support the activities of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan on the international platform, on the international floor. And now I think it's important to know the following thing. The Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan was consecrated in 2016. And as we know, the Grand Lodge of Russia, I would say the so-called Mother Grand Lodge, was this was their constitution, which was accepted as the constitution of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. And this constitution didn't change since this day, it didn't change until today. So it's the valuable constitution of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. And in 2021, the current most worshipful Grandmaster, Aida Alpizbayev, was elected for a period of 5 years, as it is written in the constitution of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. The Grandmaster is elected for 5 years. So, and also in 2021, representatives of the Grand Lodge of Russia, also including their Grandmaster, were present at the annual convocation where most worshipful Grandmaster Aida Alpizbayev was elected. And I want to point out the following things for the moment only. According to Article 3.1, the Council of Grand Officers is determining the date and also the location of the annual convocation of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. And in Article 3.3 is written that only the Council of Grand Officers has the right of the convocation of an extraordinary annual convocation, if it is necessary. And currently we have, since July, we have Masonic holidays in the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. So when you are in Masonic holidays, when you have Masonic holidays, no annual convocation, no any Masonic work, no any lodges working. Logic.
Yeah.
And in Article 24.1 is also written that the invitation to an annual communication has to be sent by the Grand Secretary. And in this invitation, the agenda, the order of business, has to be declared and written and sent to all the delegates of the annual communication. This is also described in Article 3.4, 3.6, and 6.1 of the Constitution. And of course, I think it's the same in every Grand Lodge, also in the United States, as far as I know, that the annual communication must be directed by the Grand Master, or in any case, if he is not available, or he can delegate this task to a grand officer, but it is his task to delegate it, no, not from outside. And Article 7.4, and this is currently important, I think, this article describes the procedure of the removal of a Grand Master according to the constitution of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan.
Which is the constitution of the Grand Lodge of Russia?
It is similar. The Grand Lodge of Russia was the mother lodge, so they kind of accepted or delivered the basis for the constitution of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan.
Which is an important point with what you're about to say.
Yeah, this is not something that anyone invented. It is with the accord, in French we say accord, with the acceptance of the Grand Lodge of Russia that this constitution was the base at the consecration of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. Right. So let's come back to the Article 7.4. More than half of the lodges, the active lodges, currently we have 6 active lodges in the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan, has to send a petition to the Council of Grand Officers of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan, not anywhere else, to the Council of the Grand Officers, under then the leadership of the Deputy Grand Master, because when the petition is against the Grand Master, so the Deputy Grand Master has to lead the Council of Officers and has to evaluate the petition. And if the Council of the Grand Officers decides, okay, the petition is correct, and we are positive concerning the petition for removal, then this petition has to be finally sent to the Court of Masonic Honor. And if at the end the Court of Masonic Honor says, okay, yes, down with the Grand Master, then the Council of Grand Officers will send a convocation to an extraordinary annual communication. This is the procedure which has to be followed if the removal of Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan is the target. And last but not least, I want to mention that the Grand Master Ida Alpes-Wife, the most worshipful Grand Master, he sent a decree, he published a decree that since 6th of July, the relations between the Grand Lodge of Russia and the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan were suspended. So that means that any official communication or any official visit cannot occur on the territory of the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. So a short summary, a little bit, it seems like that I'm reciting the law, reciting the constitution, but I think that this is one important thing to respect the procedures. And I am known in my office as a district Grand Master of the District Berlin-Brandenburg in Germany. Sometimes we are laughing about that I'm quite strict concerning the rules and the constitutions there. And so I think that is also one thing which has to be followed, and not only in the Grand Lodge of Kazakhstan. I think this is generally the important in all over the world.
Yep. Yeah. So cryptically, it's you've kind of laid the groundwork why all of this is a problem. So I know we have several Grand Lodge jurisdictions that watch the podcast, but that's not the official. I have a feeling that how everything happened, it's probably not quite over yet. Is that a fair cliffhanger?
Yes, I think there's a fair cliffhanger, and we will deepen this issue hopefully in the later video with you.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, Celil, thank you for taking your time out from your holiday to get on the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast. I appreciate you, and until next time, my friend, thank you.
Thank you for accepting me as a guest. It was a pleasure, it was an honor